The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to his apostles, "Whoever loves father or mother than me is not worthy of me. And whoever loves son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. And whoever does not take up his cross and follow after me is not worthy of me. Whoever finds his life will lose it, and whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. Whoever receives you receives me, and whoever receives me receives the one who sent me. Whoever receives a prophet because he is a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever receives a righteous man because he is a righteous man will receive a righteous man's reward. And whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink because the little one is a disciple, amen, I say to you, he will surely not lose his reward." The Gospel of the Lord. I want to ask a very honest question here. Who loves your mother or father more than God? Raise your hand. At least I have a few honest people here. Now, the next question here is, who loves your son and daughter more than God? Raise your hand. Now, and then you know the answer for that, right? You're not worthy of me. Is that how Jesus wants us to treat one another? Of course not. But you know, sometimes we're so concerned about our close circles, if you will, close friends, close family members, to the point we can't recognize anyone else. And so today, I think the last verse in the gospel today summarizes almost everything that Jesus said today. Whoever gives a glass or a cup of cold water to the little ones, you give it to me. Now, for me though, I have to stand here because I wrote this reflection this morning and I felt it was very concise, so I want to just say it to you. In order to have that respond with a cup of water to that little one, you need three things. First, you have to have Jesus in the center of your life. Second, in order to get that cold water at the right time for the little one, we have to pay attention at the needs of the others constantly, to the point that it becomes like a second nature, to the point that we can't even scratch our head and say, "I saw that guy again. This is the second time. This is like a routine here. You know, I can give you the first time, but the second time, no good." And the third thing that we need to consider here, in order to give without counting and without asking in return, we have to have a generous heart. Yes? These are the three conditions. It's not easy to respond spontaneously, generously, without asking in return. We have to have Jesus in the center of our life. For me, sometimes it's easier to receive God into our home. It's easier to love our own father and our own mother, or our own son and daughter. It's easier to welcome and to hang out with righteous people, holy people, rich people, powerful people, than to receive and welcome a little one. And the little one here could be the one who have no money, the one who have no power, the one who has no attraction, and even cannot do anything good for us in return. Therefore, Jesus concludes his teachings today with a challenge. Whoever gives only a cup of cold water to one of these little ones to drink, because the little one is a disciple. I love this phrase right there. The little one is a disciple. I want to emphasize on this because I know a couple of my friends here working very hard for our little ones. And what I'm talking is right behind me here, the students at our Redemptor St. Jared School. The little ones that many people maybe don't want to see, maybe don't want to touch because so many problems, so many needs. I can't do everything. But you know what? Today, Jesus said, I assure you, he will surely not lose his reward. Because what we do for them, maybe not one day in the future, but right now, we participate in that reward. One day, some of them will become leaders that rescue our nation. It's like Joseph in the Old Testament, the one that their brothers sold to the Egyptians, became the one who rescued the whole nation. And so, my brothers and sisters, Jesus wants us to be Christ-like in today's world. Jesus wants us to do ordinary things with extraordinary effort, a little bit more. Jesus asks us to go beyond our own family, beyond our own church and religion, beyond races and nations, beyond the appearances and even characteristics and virtues. Jesus only wants us to live truthfully with one another and love one another generously. Do not neglect the small things or little people among us. Do not hurt them or abandon them, but be attentive to their needs and respond to them as soon as we can. Like the prophet today, Elisha said, what can we do for this lady? And they said, next year, about this time, you will have a baby after a long time of waiting. And so, my brothers and sisters, don't wait for tomorrow. If we can respond today, do it now. Because when we receive a little one, we receive God. We receive Jesus. We receive Mother Mary. And God will reward us abundantly. Amen. Please stand. Let us, with one another, profess our faith and recommit ourselves again, who we are and what we call for. I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, maker of heaven and earth, of all things visible and invisible. I believe. Born of the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten not made, consubstantial with the Father. Through him all things were made. For us men and for our salvation, he came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary, and became man. For our sake he was crucified under Pontius Pilate, suffered and rose again on the third day in accordance with the scriptures. He ascended into heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son, who with the Father and the Son is adored and glorified, who has spoken to the prophets. I believe in one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church. I confess one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, and I look forward to the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Amen. And so, my brothers and sisters, as a baptized people aware of our death to sin and life for God, let us voice our needs for ourselves and our world.